Natalia gave me the presentation material for the move-in inspection. So I will very quickly share the slides with you, if you don't mind. Let me just share the screen. Then, yeah, let's just very quickly go through the move-in inspection procedures and what is the key points whenever we do move-in inspections. So very detailed material, but let me go through very quickly. Can you see the slide here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let me just, yeah. So I think move-in and move-out inspection report is very critical, especially when we collect security or pet deposit and return the deposits. So basically the key thing the one thing is that regarding the locks. So as far as I know, if the tenant requests, landlord can change the locks at the beginning of the tenancy. But during the tenancy, during the tenancy, tenant can change the locks, but at his own cost, right? But at the beginning of the tenancy, if the tenant requests to change the locks, then landlord have to change it with landlord cost. That is the difference. And if the tenant change the lock during the tenancy, when he move out, he have to switch back to the original lock before he move out. So that is one thing, and then return the original key. And also move-in inspection, at least the move-in inspection should be done when the unit is empty, which means after the previous tenant has moved out and before the new tenants move in. That is the definition of when the unit is empty. So otherwise, we cannot see what is the problems or if there are any scratches or that kind of things more in detail. So and then the second thing is that this is the form of the notice condition inspection report. So I think this is very important thing that at least landlords have to give the 2 chances to the tenants to attend the inspection report. Otherwise, the landlord cannot collect the deposit. So if the tenant cannot meet these 2 schedules, then the landlord can conduct the move-in inspection by herself. But in that situation, tenant cannot claim the deposit 100%. Because landlord can prepare the report at his own discretion. So even he can put some not correct things in the report, the tenants have no choice to claim because he missed 2 opportunities. So I think that is very critical. So landlord have the obligation to give 2 chances to the tenant. And if the tenant missed these 2 chances, tenant cannot claim the deposit later. So that is the key message here. Yeah, let's move on. So this is the form, as you can see, condition inspection report, form RTP-27. And of course, both parties have to sign and then date, when is the move-in date and move-out date, and then their legal names and signs on it. So it is quite time-consuming because every single item or aspect we have to check out and then put the comments, whether this is good, fair, poor, missing, or stained, or damaged, scratched, broken, dirty. So normally, depending upon the house condition, we just put in general, the condition is, let's say, poor or fair or good. So I choose among these 3, and mostly I say I put fair. unless the house is quite brand new or nobody lived before. Or if the house is over 20 years, in general, the condition is poor. But in some specific area, maybe we can mark that is very poor or very good or damaged, something like that. And then we put the code. And I put the comment on this small column. So if there are any nail mark or scuffs or stains, I put the specific remark in these comments instead of just put the good or the poor, because we can code here. So I just made use of this space to put some specific comments. Okay, and yeah, we signed it here, and then this is another form. Yeah, the cleaning. So in the manual, it says tenant is expected to clean the inside of their rental unit, even if it is not. It wasn't clean. It wasn't clean at the beginning of the tenancy. But in most cases, as for me, what I'm doing is that as is condition. If the house was cleaned, professionally cleaned, then I ask tenant, you have to professionally clean when you move out. If the house is clean, just as normal condition, or the owner by themselves clean the house, then I ask the tenant, you do the same thing. Just return it as is condition, which was viewed in moving inspection date. So I think that is fair enough. So that is normal procedures, but the guideline said even if it is not cleaned, tenants should clean the house when they move out. Yeah, so this is all the detailed area where to clean. So carpet, appliances, window coverings, window, balcony, doors. But mostly we don't clean the balcony outside. So outside the house, we don't do clean, but all the inside of the house, we clean the house. And they hold baseboard heaters, fireplace, etc. And also we do take photos in some specific or the important areas. If there are any damaged area or some dirty area, we just take photos to protect both parties. So this is all the details of the photos in the unit. So like this, we take as many photos as possible. But as for me, especially, I take pictures for some specific area where there are some damages or some dirty area only, not all the house like that. It's a lot. And then this is a really good idea that when we just take a photo, we can put some coin or something to the see what is the actual size. And yeah, so a lot of pictures here. And this is important. We always check whether the drainage is okay or whether the water is running properly. And if there is any stain mark underneath the sink, that is very important. And then we just check out how many keys we are providing and then take pictures. Yeah, and then that is very important. So we also provide the building bylaws if that is a strata. And then we just explain what the bylaw says, especially the parking or any where is the garbage area and biking common area, a storage locker area, all that kind of things. So during the moving inspection date, I basically explained the summary of the bylaw to the tenant, which means I always have to read the bylaw before I just advertise the unit to the public. And yep, so all the details here. And then if that house was furnished, of course, we have to prepare the furniture list or inventory list. So we can just inspect together with these items, item by item. Mostly I ask the owner to prepare it, and then they don't have to pay. Otherwise, we have to prepare it and then we charge them depending upon the situation, $99 per hour or whatever amount. But I give the option to the owner, if you can prepare the list, then you can save money. I can type written it if you just give me the handwritten paper, but otherwise I have to get involved in, and then I have to charge you because this is the extra one. And by the way, moving inspection fee, that is a kind of issue, but I think the best way is to discuss this matter upfront. When you visit the owner to make a listing presentation, you explain all the commission and fees upfront, and then just give them the option. You can do moving inspection by yourselves to save money, but if I have to visit and then do the moving inspection, then there is extra charge, mostly $99 per hour for the small condos, or for the house that is big enough, so it takes more than 1 hour, then we can charge $275 something in our the contract. But it is all negotiable, and depending upon the situation, maybe you can reduce or you can ask for charge. It is very flexible, and then it cannot be the deal breaker, what I'm trying to say. Okay, and then let's move on to the, now it's done. And then now move-out inspection is exactly reversed and the same. So tenant must move out by 1 p.m. on the last day of the tenancy. That is typical thing, but 7 a.m. on the last date. But anyway, in the Residential Tenancy Bureau, Residential Tenancy Act, tenant can move out by the 1 p.m. on the last date. And we also have the chance, the owner have to give the chance to the tenant to join the move-out inspection. So we arrange the date and then sign the contract. And this is the exactly reverse of the move-in inspection. So maybe I can just summarize the key points. Yeah, this is the move-out inspection form. And then, yeah, cleaning the unit same. So like I said, in my case, I just return it as is condition, right? When the unit was professionally cleaned, especially if there is a carpeted, then mostly the tenant requests shampoo cleaning, professional shampoo cleaning for the carpet. So if the owner just do that, and then tenants must do the same thing. They should hire the commercial cleaner and then do the shampoo cleaning for the carpet. If there's no carpet, and that is negotiable, so mostly seller owners say, okay, I can clean the house, but not professionally done. Then that's fine enough to the tenant, if the tenant agree, on condition that the tenant can also do the not professional, but just regular cleaning of the house, same as the original condition. So that is a cleaning of the unit. And carpet appliances is all the same thing, so reverse. And move-out inspection. Yeah, this one that like I mentioned, give the chance to join the move-out inspection. And after it is done, they have to give the copy of the move-out inspection within 15 days. I forgot, but the move-in inspection copy within 7 days. That is the difference. I don't know why they put different dates, but move-in inspection should be given to the tenant by 7 days, but move-out inspection should be given to the tenant by 15 days, within 15 days. And otherwise, the owner, the landlord, have to pay the deposit twice. That is very important. And move-out inspection, returning deposit. Number one, tenant have to give the written notice to the landlord to end the tenancy, or landlord also have to give the written notice to the tenant, right? So there should be the written notice, and then the providing forwarding address to the landlord in writing. I think that is very important, but we don't pay attention to these, but according to the law, the tenant must provide the forwarding address, which means the next house address to the landlord. Otherwise, landlord has no duty to return the deposit. So very, very important issue, I think. And also clean the house and remove all belongings, and also participate in move out condition inspection, and then sign the contract. All this should be done to get the money back. And so the landlord should return the deposit back within 15 days, like I said. Otherwise, landlord have to pay double the deposit to the tenant. So this is very important. And if there are any other extra damages, of course, the landlord can ask to deduct that amount of the money from the tenant. If the tenant does not agree, then it have to go to the dispute resolution, to the RTB. So that is quite the headache. So normally everything should be done based upon the common sense, right? So far I have never seen such a dispute, but mostly I'm just asking the landlord to give the maximum amount of the return to the tenant. If the scratch is very minimum, even there are some new scratches, I just ask the landlord to return the deposit 100%. Otherwise, when we go to the dispute resolution to the RTD, everything is quite advantageous to the tenant to protect the weak, not to protect the strong, right? So it's not good to go to the dispute resolution, and mostly they side with the tenant instead of the landlord. That's why mostly even there are some extra new scalps or damages. If the damage is very slight and minimum, then I urge the owner to return the deposit 100%. Yeah, I think this one already mentioned. So written consent. Okay, let's. Yeah, landlord can ask ask to keep some money from the deposit if the damage happens, or unpaid rent or bills. The reason why the tenant have to provide the forwarding address is to verify or secure the unpaid the unpaid bills, I think, mostly. So if there are any unpaid rent or some bills that is coming, maybe let's say next month, then landlord cannot collect the bills as of the move out date. That's why they need a forwarding address. And then mostly landlord prefer to return the deposit within 2 weeks, because they just wait for the next bills. And if there are any deduction, they can deduct from the deposit and then pay back to the tenant within that 14 days. Otherwise, they have to send an invoice to the tenant to the forwarding address. That's why he needs a forwarding address to clear the unpaid bills, something like that. Like I said, if the tenant changed the locks, it is possible, but he have to switch back to the original locks. Otherwise, the key is not matching, so the landlord can deduct some money from the deposit to change the lock again. Notice to end tenancy. Yeah, so landlord is can give the 1 month notice to the landlord. Sorry, tenant can give 1 month notice to the landlord if that is month-to-month basis, right? And then there's no specific form, so the tenant can prepare any form, and then but they have to put his tenant's name, date, address, and date the tenant plan to leave, and tenant signature. These 5 things should be written in the notice. And then that is only for the month-to-month tenancy, right? And also, I think there might be, and also landlord can also give the notice to end tenancy, the 10-day notice, 1 month, 2 month, 4 month notices, right? And then landlord must have a good reason to give the notice, but tenant don't need. Tenant can give notice to any time to the landlord to end tenancy if the tenancy is month-to-month basis. For fixed term tenancy, where fixed term tenancy, let me see. There's an explanation. Fixed term tenancy, where if the tenant want to break the tenancy agreement, mostly there is a liquidation damage clause in our contract, right? So according to our contract, a tenant can, at the owner's option, the landlord can accept that liquidation, that damage clause. If the landlord accepts, then tenant can move out before the fixed term tenancy by paying 1 month compensation to the landlord. If the landlord do not agree and don't take that option, then there's no way for the tenancy to move out without finding another new tenant, right? Because if the tenant want to move out during the fixed term tenancy, the only practical way is to find another new tenant and then do their best to advertise and try to find a new tenant. Otherwise, they have to go to the residential tenancy bureau because that is breaking the rule, breaking the agreement, right? And move out date is normally by 1 p.m. on the last day of the tenancy, but it all depends. In our contract, we mostly put the 11 a.m. on the last day of the tenancy. This one is the landlord notice to end tenancy. Like I said, there are many reasons: unpaid rent for 10 days, for calls for 1 month, and for landlord use of property for 2 months. These all require the 1 month compensation. And tenant does not qualify for subsidized rental unit 1 month, demolition 4 months, something like that. So, and then another thing is the PAT. So there are 2 deposits. One is security deposit and the other is for PAT deposits. So mostly if the owner allow the PAT, then there should be a separate additional PAT agreement or addendum. And then if there should be another half a month, then PAT deposit. So total deposit should be 1 month, right? And then if the tenant leave any items and then just run away or vacate the property, if the item is less than $500, then the tenant can keep it. But if the item is more than $500, then landlord have to keep it for 60 days, and then after 60 days, and then I think he can dispose of the abandoned item at his own discretion. But normally, I never seen that kind of situation happens. So mostly the tenant just bring all their valuables by themselves, and probably used by tenants. So my understanding is that even the property was damaged that seriously or severely, tenant can only claim the security deposit. If the damage amount is more than the security deposit, the only way to claim the more money is to go through the court or residential tenancy bureau. So no matter what he have to keep the security deposit first and then claim to the court or to the residential tenants bureau about the further damage amount. So that's why we have to have the good tenants, right? So without proper notice, if the tenant leave without proper notice, landlord have no obligation to return the deposit. I think that is the end of the slide. So I'm just quickly go walk through the slide with you. Any questions so far?
No, it's good.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Sorry about that. I didn't have enough chance to just review all the documentations, so I just quickly review based on my common sense and my knowledge. Thank you.
Yeah, I just good floor, like, because I think when it's fair, it means that there's some scratches there or something. It's kind of fair.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, yes. But
yeah, so I think that is kind of subjective matters, but at least both parties have to mutually understand and agree that how we regard this condition as fair or good or poor, whatever, right? Yeah, yeah.
For me, poor, it's when it's broken, kind of. Almost broken, it's poor.
Almost broken. Okay.
Yes, fair, it's like in the middle, kind of it's good, but fine.
Yeah.
But when it's actually good, yeah.
Yeah, so mostly in my case, I just put as a fair because that is a kind of middle or on average. And I don't put the poor. I agree that the poor means the house is very much damaged and too much old. So everything is quite messy.
Yes.
What's more important is some specific comment. So every single corner of the house, if there are any scratches or the scuffs or the stains, we just put the remark and where it is and what type of the damages are they. So that is more important instead of the good, fair, or good, fair, or poor, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I just know it's important that it is 15 days for the report, right? And for this, because it's good to know that it's 15 days, yes. And basically, I think that it's important who did move in inspection, maybe the same agent can do move out, because at least we remember the place, kinda.
What do you think? In my case, I have a couple of experiences to the move-out inspection, but what happened was that I just bought the house for my client, and he just happened to be the tenant of the house. So they already have the contract, the tenancy agreement and move-in inspection report there. And all I have to do is just do the move-out inspection based upon the move-in inspection. But because I don't know the move-in condition, because I didn't prepare that report yet, so I cannot be more strict about the report because I don't know all the details. I have to rely on tenant's statement that it was done like this before, something like that. So mostly in that situation, we have to return the deposit 100% unless there are big difference between the reports, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, sounds good.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you for the listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing.